Hello, good morning. My name is Tia Kusumawardhani and my partner, Ms. Susan. We are from Ciputra University, Surabaya, and today we present our latest research with topics of criteria formulation for a web-based assessment tools for the net zero healthy building. As we know, the amount of energy consumption in the building is one-third of the world's energy consumption, where the energy used is non-renewable energy sources. So, to dealing with these issues, the one of the strategy is using renewable energy in net zero building concept. World Green Building Council targeting in 2030 all new buildings must operate at net zero carbon, and in 2050 100% of buildings must operate at net zero carbon. But due to the pandemic condition, the concept of net zero needs to be adapted to the concept of healthy buildings. Net zero strategies should include the identification of the indoor health aspects that affect the health of the building occupant. Towards net zero healthy building, Greenship and its issued by Green Building Council Indonesia are being compared. For Greenship already has categories of energy efficiency and conservation, and also indoor health and comfort, which need to be considered in net zero healthy building. But the assessment process is done manually, and the criteria still need to be adjusted to respond to pandemic condition. For H is a web-based assessment tool that mainly analyzes on three criteria: energy, water, and material. In energy criteria itself has 34 parameters, but in H does not discuss about criteria for healthy building. purpose of this research is to formulate the criteria for web-based preliminary assessment tools for net zero healthy building, where integrate indoor health and comfort parameters that have adapted to pandemic conditions to achieve healthy building, and also energy efficiency parameters to achieve net zero healthy building. Hopefully, with these preliminary assessment tools, it makes the stakeholder easier to make a design decisions. For the research methodology, we do the research in three steps. First, we do the observation about previous studies on net zero building and healthy building, and scheme of Greenship Net Zero Healthy to propose the initial criteria for assessment tools. Then the initial criteria discussed with the stakeholders several times to get the feedback and to revise the criteria. Then the results are developed more detailed for the schematic guide that can be used to create a website flowchart that will be compiled by the web developer. For criteria formulation, first we analyze the scheme of Green Net Zero Healthy issued by Green Building Council Indonesia. The main points in the schemes are building mass orientation, microclimate and noise level, placement of renewable energy, passive envelope design, active design, indoor health, indoor comfort, and also renewable energy strategy. Then the scheme is compared with the literature and other studies related to net zero energy and healthy buildings. Several studies mention that the health and comfort of occupants in the building is also an important consideration in net zero energy building, where to achieve performance in energy efficiency, especially at the evaluation stage, where net zero energy building composed of three main design elements: passive design, service system, and renewable energy sources power generation. The other important criteria to achieve healthy building are indoor quality and adaptive thermal comfort. Good air quality can be created by increasing the outdoor air exchange rate 6 to 12 air change per hour, stop air recirculation and maximize outside air through windows or other mechanical system, and reduce space capacity up to 50% to reduce viral aerosols. And since the introduction of outdoor air is mandatory, the concept of thermal comfort turns to adaptive thermal comfort, where users can adjust their own comfort level through various ways, such as opening or adjusting clothing insulation. And then for the next step, evaluating criteria with the stakeholders. Based on the scheme issued by Green Building Council Indonesia and the literature studies, the initial criteria for preliminary assessment tools are compiled. For the first criteria is building data, which include location, gross floor area, total floors number, occupancy density, operational and non-operational hours, building orientation, etc. Building typology also must set at the first step because affects the baseline of energy consumption index and the building health index, and both are measured using standards given by Directorate General Energy Indonesia, Green Building Council Indonesia, SNE, and any other related councils. As we can see in the slide, there are several sub-criteria inside each criteria. Criteria number two is about passive design strategy for building envelope, where the data inputted are building envelope data such as OTTV, SHGC, and window to wall ratio. Criteria number three about active design strategy that calculates energy consumption of lighting, air conditioning, appliances, utility, and plug. In lighting, lighting energy consumption can be measured by design or based on lighting power density standards given by Green Building Council Indonesia. Air conditioning. The air conditioning cooling load is a summary from the building sensible load, people sensible load, people latent load, lighting sensible load, infiltration load, and ventilation load. For appliances, the calculate the total number of appliances multiplied by watts and operating hours of use. For utility, utility here refers to the energy consumption used by lift, escalator, pump, sewage treatment plant, and mechanical ventilation. For plug, energy consumption for a plug is calculated from the plug power density both during operational hours and non-operational hours. For the building health and comfort index consists of several sub-criteria: outdoor air introduction, air transfer power, access to outside view, visual comfort, thermal comfort, acoustical comfort, where each can be explained as follows. For outdoor air introduction, it is necessary to explain whether there is potential for outside air intake, and it is necessary to calculate the minimum flow rate based on calculation that take concern on airflow rate required per person, zone population, outdoor airflow rate required per unit area, and zone floor. For air jets per hour, are calculated based on air ventilation speed inside the room and the room volume. For access to outside view, the standard recommended by the Green Building Council Indonesia for areas with an outside view at least 75% of the total gross floor area. For the visual comfort, to measure it, the design illumination level should be compared to the illuminance standard. The design illuminance level itself depends on the lamp specification used in the building, watt, lumen, light loss factor, and utility factor. For the thermal comfort, based on a temperature setting of 25 degrees Celsius and relative humidity of 40 to 60% according to Green standards. And for acoustical comfort, noise level existing condition is compared to the noise level standard based on building typology. For the next criteria is about renewable energy sources. Prediction of electrical energy from PV or depends on the potential facet area and PV specification. And from this criteria, percentage of electrical energy generated by PV is compared to the total energy consumed by the building. So in the final result, the output will be displayed in three main summary: towards net zero building, towards healthy building, and design recommendation that need to be applied in the buildings to achieve healthy buildings and apply health protocols. The six criteria and sub-criteria found for the initial assessment tool were then discussed with Green Building Council Indonesia as a stakeholder. From the result of the discussion of the criteria, the next step is to create a schematic guide that can be used to create a website flowchart that will be compiled by the web developer. For the data input, building data and typology must be set first, then the strategy to achieve net zero healthy building like passive design strategy for building envelope, active design strategy, building health and comfort design, and renewable energy resources are must be set to get the output in form of design portfolio that show the achievement summary of net zero healthy building. From this research, we can conclude that the criteria found from the result of the research can be further developed in more detail for the measurement methods for each sub-criteria and become a guidance to develop a flowchart for the prototype of a preliminary assessment tools for net zero healthy building. And as the natural ventilation takes an important part in achieving healthy building, the thermal comfort, which in this case adaptive thermal comfort, must be analyzed further to know the right combination of temperature variables that is considered comfortable, such as temperature, humidity, air movement, and clothing. And the last, the preliminary assessment tool is then expected to produce an output simulation to predict the condition of energy use and building health that can be used as a basis for decision making to achieve the target of net zero healthy building. And this is the references that we use in the research. And that's all of my presentation. And thank you for watching. Have a good day, everyone.